In Pennsylvania, Ed, Governor Josh Shapiro expressed concern over Elon Musk's plan to give money to voters, suggesting law enforcement reviews. This follows Musk's announcement to donate $1 million daily to a random registered voter supporting his super PAC's petition on free speech and gun rights. Just take a listen to this from NBC's Meet the Press.
I think it's something that law enforcement could take a look at. I'm not the Attorney General anymore of Pennsylvania. I'm the governor, but it does raise some serious questions.
Bloomberg's Kurt Wagner joins us now, who covers all things Elon, but covers all things X as well. And just how does this dovetail into what you're seeing on his social media platform right now?
Yeah, I mean, he's using X as a very pro-Trump megaphone right now. I actually opened the app just yesterday, and on my For You feed, right, which is the feed that's supposed to be tailored recommendations for you, 11 of the first 15 posts that I saw were from Elon himself, and all of them were, supporting Trump, pushing Trump's Republican or conservative agenda. I mean, he's very much taken this social network and feels to me like he's using it to really hammer home his own personal politics in this fight to, help Trump win the election in a couple weeks.
The activity is notable. I would also point out Vice President Harris has two accounts on X, right? Her official vice presidential account and then her, I guess we would call it personal campaign account. And she also posts daily and regularly, and that appears in my timeline, maybe not as much as Musk's posts appear. But I guess the point that we would make is that it's the content and the commentary. It's very similar to what one might find on Truth Social, Kurt.
Yeah, I kind of jokingly called X Truth Social 2.0 a few weeks ago in a newsletter that I wrote, because it feels very much like you are seeing President Trump's message hammered home repeatedly, either through Elon, through Trump himself, through other supporters. You're right, Ed. I also have seen a lot of posts from Kamala Harris and others. It feels like my feed is almost 100% U.S. politics focused right now. It's interesting because back in, Twitter 1.0 days, they used to say, well, this is obviously an important news cycle. It's an important thing for the service, but it's not the only thing, right? You would still see basketball, baseball, sports. You would see culture, music, things like that. It feels to me like they've dialed up the algorithm to really make the election front and center for every user. And I'm certainly noticing it every time I open the app these days.
Does that matter long term for Grok, for example? It's AI chatbot, and indeed more broadly what we end up wanting our social media platforms for?
Yeah, it's been interesting to see X's approach here to the election compared to, say, Meta and what they're doing with Instagram and Facebook, right? So on the Meta side, they're basically saying, hey, we're leaning away from the election. If you're talking about the election, we're not going to recommend that post to people outside of your network, whereas X is doing the exact opposite. And it's just going to be interesting to see long term, does this burn people out, or is this what people want? Do they want to go and see election 24/7 information, in which case maybe X is making the right choice? Or is Meta right? Is Mark Zuckerberg right? That people don't want this stuff thrown in their face 24/7, 365. So we'll kind of see. I think, for me personally, it feels a little overkill. It feels a little bit like burnout to me over on X. But, that's the decision Elon has made. And again, interesting comparison this election cycle to have a Meta and Mark Zuckerberg going in a very different direction in terms of how much they want to prioritize election content.